Right, guys. It's a day. It's some day. It's some day. Today I want to just kind of go over something that's kind of it really hit me today. That I think you guys could gain a lot of value from. Obviously, my hair is again post tennis haircut this today, so excuse that. But yeah, it's something that I think you guys could all gain some value from, and it's something that kind of hit me really hard, as I say. So I'm going to try and articulate it as best as I can, but it's basically this. If I summarize it, it's basically you use the future and the possibility of the future and the future that you dream of as an escape from the present. So whatever it is that you told yourself, like, oh yeah, it's going to be fine next year because next year I'm going to be rich. Next year I'm going to be able to go traveling because next year I'm going to have this and next year I'm going to have that. But you've got to do something to actually attain that. And most of you, and I'm not saying I'm any better because of course none of us are perfect by any means. But we all lie to ourselves saying that something's going to miraculously change when it doesn't, because we think we've got so much time and we think that something's just going to click on some day in the future. So then we put it off till tomorrow and then the next day and then the next day. But you use that excuse of the future's going to be amazing, that you completely miss out on what is actually in front of you today. And you also miss out on actually doing what's going to get you to that future today, because something's just going to miraculously change. Your persona is going to change. Your work ethic's going to change. You're going to be able to do this. You're going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to do all these things because something's just going to miraculously change, right? Which sadly isn't the case. Well, it's not the case unless you watch this video and you're like, fuck this shit. I'm changing what I'm doing. And I think most of the biggest kind of drawback in all of our lives, the thing that holds all of us back from achieving what we want to achieve is literally, I'm dead serious, it all stems down to social media. I'm dead serious. And by social media, I don't mean like creating social media. That's actually a positive thing. But consuming social media and the gratification that you get from social media, whether it be on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and the possibility that you could have a message whenever you open your phone, completely distracts you from your work, because the more you do that, the more you've ingrained it as a habit that you could have a message, so you need to check your phone just in case. So it's always kind of like hidden in the back of your mind, your subconscious mind, that you've always got you could have a message that you want to that you need to reply to, or you could have an important message that's going to absolutely ruin your life if you don't reply to it. So you always have that excuse to kind of do something that, like, you have that excuse to get away from whatever it is that you're doing, right? And I think everything kind of stems down to stress. It kind of it stems down to stress, but also it also stems down to the fact that we just simply lie to ourselves so constantly. All of us are always lying to ourselves in one state or another, and the accumulation of that is what makes you reach the age of 30, 35, look back on your life and be like, fuck, I didn't do anything because I always put stuff off until tomorrow, because then something's going to happen. When in reality, you all need to just fucking wake up, as do I. Like, I'm not perfect, but I understand this stuff. You need to wake up and realize that nothing's going to fucking change until you, literally grab life by the horns and fucking do what you said that you're going to do, or do what you know is going to get you to where you want to get to. Because you're not going to become a millionaire by fucking doing nothing. It's not just going to suddenly arise. Like, you're not going to be able to say to yourself, yeah, next year, you'll be watching, I'll give you an example. You'll be watching, this is what I've said to myself in the past. You'll be watching the F1, or you'll be watching a tennis tournament, or you'll be watching whatever the fuck on the TV. You'll be like, yeah, oh, I'd love to go to that. Next year I'm going to have enough money. I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to be able to go to that thing. I'm going to be able to go to that F1 race. I'm going to fly all the way to Singapore and watch that race. But you say that because you think something's just going to there's an underlying assumption that something's going to miraculously change in your life, in your persona, in the way that you carry yourself, that's going to therefore allow you to reach that goal. When in reality, I don't think that really exists in any regard. It does if you actually grab life by the horns and fucking do what you say you're going to do. But everyone's too much of a fucking pussy to do that, and they always would rather indulge in instant gratification, whether that be social media, whether that be fucking TikTok, whatever. then actually, whenever that moment of discomfort comes, whenever that moment of discomfort comes, whether it's imposter syndrome or whether you're writing something or doing outreach and you kind of like, oh, this is boring. Oh, I don't know if this is fun. Oh, I need a break. This is boring. And you then allow yourself to quit that discomfort of writing that document, of writing, of doing those outreach messages, or whatever it is that's not necessarily stimulating. Every time you do that, you're allowing yourself to ingrain the habit that whenever something gets hard, you have an easy escape from it, which in principle isn't bad. If you think in human nature, if you're being attacked by a tiger, this is a weird fucking example. You're being attacked by a tiger and you have an easy escape from it, right? Of course you're going to fucking take that escape, right? Because it's fucking killing you. But this is completely backwards, and you're doing the thing to move you forward, but you're finding an escape that takes you away from the thing that's moving you forward because it feels better at the time, right? So in human nature, we always look for an escape from things that are hard, of course. But in this specific scenario, it's all backwards because you've ingrained the habit, you've ingrained that kind of like sense of need, or I don't want to say narcissistic, but need for social media to keep yourself happy, to keep yourself kind of you selfishly content. And that's what social media has been built like. It's been built to make you it's literally being built to keep you on there for as long as possible and make it as stimulating as possible, because that's how the companies make the most money. It is as simple as that. The longer you stay on the app, the more ads they can put in front of you, the more money they're going to make. It's as simple as that. So they buy some of the world's best psychologists to keep you on the app. And it's literally you versus the corporations. And you've got to be that guy who's like, right, I know this is fucking stimulating, but I want to change my life. And the only way I'm going to change my life is by realizing what the fucking things are that are ruining it and then actually getting rid of them. Oh, mate, I look like a fucking woman. I wish I could like have like a decent fucking haircut. Whenever. Like, why does my hair go flat? Like, I know some people get like god genes and their hair's just like decent when it's dry with nothing in it, but mine's just shit. Anyway, so yeah, why is it not focusing? That's the thing that I kind of wanted to say is I'll go back to this because I feel like I've kind of like waffled on a bit. Most people use the future and the future as an excuse and an escape from the present moment, because they think someone's going to miraculously change. And it's not. So, like, I think I put this in a blog post a while back. How many you'll go, like, if you're lucky enough to go on holidays, whether it be overseas, whether it be in the same country that you live in, whatever it is, whatever it is that you're doing, how many times, especially with you watching these, because I know you kind of think like I do to an extent. How many times have you gone on those trips and you'll be like, oh, I can't wait to do this more, because when I have money, I'll be able to do this more. And you'll just be constantly thinking about what you're going to do when you get back to allow you to make more money, to allow you to accomplish certain things in the future, that you disregard the moment, you know? Like when was the last time you actually sat there and enjoyed the moment and didn't think about exterior things that you're going to do at some certain point or something going on in your life? Like, when was it the last time you sat there in, I don't know, whatever example, you sit there on, whether it's around a campfire, whether you're sat with your parents, whether you're sat with your family at a table, whether you're playing football with your family, whether you're doing whatever it is. When was the last time you were actually in the moment and you actually sat there and thought to yourself and looked at the bigger picture and like, wow, I'm doing this. How fucking lucky I am. When was the last time you did that? Because I think we're always so caught up in our minds about something that's going to happen in the future that we disregard what's happening right now. And it's really fucking sad. It really does make me sad, actually. And the amount of times that I've tried to like get across to my parents, my mum, my dad, my sister, that social media is so like bad, addicting, it's just ruining your life. It's as though it doesn't feel that way because it's so stimulating, so it feels good to go on social media. It's taking away from everything, all of the fruits of life. It truly is. But because it's so stimulating, these are going to fall over again. Because it's so stimulating, we allow ourselves to keep going on it. Because it's now built in a habit that whenever there's a moment of boredom or stress or anxiety, when we're writing a project, whether we're just sat on a sofa and there's an ad break on TV, our first fucking reaction is to go on our phones every single time for like 99.9999999% of people. It's just sad. So you've got to like sit there and be like, okay, so what I'm actually getting from my phone, and if it's to just relieve that moment of boredom or relieve that kind of urge for dopamine, then I think it's just, you just got to kind of like grab it and be like, fuck this shit, I'm so dumb. I don't know, it's just, there's no, I'm kind of just stating my kind of point of view, and whether you take it into account or not, you don't have to or whatever, but I don't believe it to be wrong. I just think that people would oppose to it because they're too kind of like addicted to it to actually make a change, you know? So be like, nah, Ollie, phones aren't actually that bad. Social media isn't actually that bad. It allows me to be connected. I don't think what I'm saying is wrong, but people would oppose to it, especially all the woke people on fucking social media who just sit there and fucking complain and have blue hair and shit. Like, I don't believe, this is the first time I will say to you that there is no fucking chance that I am wrong in this regard. There's no way. It's just a case of actually making people who think that I am wrong realize that they're actually in the wrong, and realize that we've been brought onto this planet with the chances of whatever. And if you were to come here novel with the kind of like conscious minds that you have now, you come here novel out of nowhere, and you just get put in this body where you're just sat in the chair that you're sat in now, watching the screen that you're on now. You just kind of come in here out of nowhere. You're like, the fuck. I can fucking touch shit with my hands. I can move my hands and shit. I can do all this like fucking stuff. I can like punch my microphone. I know this sounds weird, but I can literally leave my fucking front door right now. I could walk to fucking London. I could walk to Wales. I could fucking get on a fucking flight in the next, well, maybe there aren't any flights at midnight. I could do fucking anything, but we're all sat in this little like hole of like that kind of like mental blockade, which is like a, what's the word? Like a metaphorical kind of thing that doesn't actually exist, but we think it exists because we've kind of been sat in that mindset of, okay, I can't really step out of line here. This would be weird. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to stay doing the same thing for my whole life. Then I'm not going to achieve anything. So I think it's just sad because there's so much stuff that you can achieve and do in your lifetime, whether it just be like enjoying life with people, friends, enjoying moments that you're in, enjoying things that you're doing, but people disregard it because they'd much rather like go on their phones. And I will tell you the best way to articulate this is, right, if I had kids right now, whether you think it's weird or not, I wouldn't let them get a phone until the age of, 16, right? Because they don't need it until 16. But this is what I mean. If you give an iPad or a phone to a naive kid, obviously all kids are naive, but just a kid, right? And you give them an iPad at the age of 7, they're then going to, like, as their brain is developing, their brain is then going to relate the iPad to happiness, to which their whole life they're going to just be using, unless something major happens and their parents like wake up and they're like, okay, no phone, we're going to be doing this protocol kind of thing. And it makes the child realize, which I don't think they're going to realize until they get to a certain age like mine, that those fucking parents have set that kid up for failure, because that kid as he's developing is going to be using that iPad, that screen, as his main means for happiness. And whenever he gets bored, he's going to go on the iPad. Whenever he gets bored in a conversation, he's going to go on the iPad. Whenever he doesn't want to talk to people, he's going to want to go on the iPad, or he's going to have a tantrum to his parents so he can go on the iPad. And if the parents are weak-minded, or just not weak-minded, but just weak in general, and they just don't like conflict with their kids, they of course are just going to give him the fucking iPad. So for his whole life, he's going to be relating happiness to that iPad or his phone. So every time he's in a moment of something that a person who had no social media, no phone to any extent is in, what was I saying? The person who has no social media, has no phone, they're in that position with, I don't know, we'll just use a really fucking random example. They're sat around a campfire with their family. Like, it's just so fucking weird. I've actually never sat around a campfire with my family in my whole life. I've had barbecues, but I'm just going to use this as an example. And you're having just a deep conversation with your family, with your friends, or whatever. You have the person who's never used social media. They're going to be so present in the moment. that they're going to be like, oh yeah, listen to this person, kind of like talking about stuff, talking about this. They're going to be in the moment. They're going to be like, oh, this is so nice. The stars are out. The campfires here. The people. Everyone's talking. Everyone's happy. And then you've got this naive kid who is 7 who has his iPad addiction. He's going to realize that this isn't as stimulating as the iPad, so therefore he's going to either go on his iPad if he's got access to it, or he's going to cry to his parents to go on the iPad because this isn't as stimulating. Oh, it's so boring talking to my family. I don't want to talk to my family. I want to go and fucking play Jetpack Joyride on my iPad. So, of course, people are going to be like, yeah, but I'm 20. I still put my phone away and enjoy those moments. And yeah, you do. Of course you do. I mean, I do as well. But you don't enjoy them to the extent that you would if you could really limit it and you weren't reliant on that phone for gratification, for stimulants, for whatever. So I really do believe that if you can stop using social media to the greatest extent that you can, that would absolutely change your life, whether it be financially, whether it be in any, I think your life would just exponentially improve if you could get rid of the addiction for social media and just that urge to go on your phone whenever there's a moment of boredom or stress or anxiety or whatever. If you could get rid of that, it's going to be so much easier to do hard tasks. And you're going to enjoy your life so much more. And the things that kind of privileged people don't enjoy, you will enjoy. You enjoy the little things in life. I mean, you've probably watched dopamine detox videos. A lot of you probably have. And you watch them and you're like, yeah, these... and they say in the videos, they're like, oh, I felt so much more present. I was watching a squirrel climb up a tree and that was like the highlight of my day kind of thing. And I know that sounds weird to say that, but when your dopamine level has gone from here to here because you haven't had that constant stimulant of that spike of TikTok all fucking day, you're going to enjoy things that are in front of you so much more, like so much more. So, and also the things that are hard are going to be less hard because you have no escape from them, and it's not a massive gap in dopamine because your usual dopamine is like fucking up here, and the task that you need to do for your project or your business or whatever is down here. So of course it's going to be so fucking, the gap is so big that it's going to feel so hard to do that task. Whereas if your usual baseline is here and then the task is here, it's going to, like, the difference is so much like smaller that it's so much easier to actually stay consistent and do what it is that you're doing, regardless of how fun it is. And that's why the influencers and like self-help people on YouTube and stuff say that a dopamine detox is so powerful for productivity and getting to where you want to get to, because that is literally it in a nutshell. It changes your life if you can actually do it. But then it's a case of actually putting a system in place to actually do it. And to be honest, I haven't got a way of doing it really. There's no way. You just got to be disciplined. Like, there's ways of doing it, of course. You can say you're only going to use your phone for an hour a day, but then that still allows for urges. You can say that you're going to mark the amount of hours that you'll go on your phone. You keep lowering it. You can say that you only go on your phone at certain times in the day. You can say whatever. But in truth, I don't think there's any way. You've literally just got to be disciplined, man. Like, next time you're working on a Google Doc or a task or a Google Sheet or whatever it may, my hair is so fucking weird. Next time you're working on one of these things, I actually don't know what to. Oh, fuck it. Like, and you get the urge to go on your phone because you don't know how to finish a sentence or you don't know how to write something or whatever. Just say to yourself, no, I'm not going to fucking do it. And then simply don't do it. But it's easier said than done in this moment right now when you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to write this task that I've been procrastinating in the last few months. I'm going to actually do it now. And then if I have that instinct to go and do something else, I'm just going to say no to it. But then the next thing is with that is the issue that most people have with this is like the naivety of they don't know why they're doing it, so they can never stick with it for an extended period of time. Like, if you just say, oh yeah, I want to get rid of my phone so I can be more productive, like, you're never gonna fucking do it. You're just gonna go back to your fucking habit straight away. Like, you probably won't even last a day. You'll last a few hours. You probably won't even last one urge. You'll probably do one urge, and then the next time it gets boring, you're like, okay, fuck it. Whereas if you had your whys set fucking out straight and you know what you're doing, then, and you know why you're doing what you're doing, it makes it so much easier to do it, because you know what you're accomplishing, what you're aspiring to achieve, why you're doing what you're doing. So there's ways of doing that. I think you can get a notepad, like a little notepad like this. This was £3 on Amazon, and just write down your whys on here. Or you can get like a collage on Google Docs or something like that, and just add a load of photos to it, and just be like, okay, this is what I want, and it's just got like a fucking Porsche. It's got a family of 5 with 3 kids and a wife. It's got a really nice house. It's got holidays. It's got first class, like whatever it is, right? You've got to have your why. And I think you can do both. You can do text and thing. Stuff like, I want to retire my parents. I want to pay off my parents' mortgage. I want to buy this car. I want to be able to pay for my parents to go on holiday. I want them to never have to worry about finances again. Like, shit like that. The reason fucking why is so fucking important, boys. So fucking important. If you don't have a reason why, as much as you think it's a waste of time, it truly isn't a waste of time, because it allows you to stay far more consistent than anyone else who doesn't have their reason why stated on paper. So make sure you write your reason why down, and then start implementing protocols to get rid of your phone screen time. And there's so many different ways of doing it. I've tried so many different ones, and it's really just comes down to discipline. Like, you've got to realize why you're doing what you're doing, and then do it, and then not doing it. Sounds dumb, but like not going on your phone. When it comes up and you want to go on your phone, don't go on it. When it comes up and you want to go on Twitter on your desktop, you want to add a new tab and go on Twitter, or you want to go on Instagram or whatever the fuck, you just say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to complete writing this. And then maybe when you finish the task, then you can reinforce that positive work and that discipline with going on Instagram, with going on Twitter, with watching that YouTube video. But once you finish the task, you'll get that sense of dopamine so high that you feel so good. Oh my God, I just done this. And then you probably won't even want to go on social media, because you don't need that high of dopamine, because you've already got it from the work that you've done. So, I mean, you can disagree with me, if you can agree with me, whatever you want, but I truly think that social media is like so fucking detrimental to us as society in general, that it's almost like priority number 1 when it comes to anything you want to achieve in life. If you actually want to do it, if you actually want to become like part of the top 1% of people that do things, you need to be able to be disciplined to an extent that you don't go on instant gratification urges to accomplish things. Truly. So, I don't know if I explained that well enough. I think I might have done. But yeah, I mean, I'm only 20 years old, so like take everything with a grain of salt, because I'm still trying to understand the world as you guys. So of course everything's going to be a bit flawed, but it's just what I've kind of taken from things that I've learned, from books that I've read, from interviews that I've listened to, from whatever it is that I've like consumed, that these are just things that I've truly changed me. So yeah, I say this in a video like 2 days ago. It was like an hour long. I'm just gonna say it real quick. I do feel sorry for. I think the reason you kind of owe it to, if you have like children or something, because if you're weak-minded to the extent that you can't deal with conflict, and you can't discipline yourself to even discipline your child whenever they want to go on an iPad or something, or you just feel like giving in to them because their friends at school have one, so I should have one. Oh, no. That's my biggest worry. But I mean, I know some people would disagree and be like, that's not attainable in this day and age. Of course, they're gonna have to have a phone. I really truly don't think it is. They don't have like I think a lot of you would agree with me that your life before phones was exponentially better. It was like so much more fulfilling and just better. But now, because we're so addicted to the stimulant of social media that we just don't, that nothing else is stimulating enough, to which we just go on our phone whenever there's a moment. So we know that it was better, but then it's backwards because we don't actually do anything. We don't actually put our phones down. So there's ways that I think you've really just got to understand the principles, and then you can start like doing things to stop going on your phone. Like, for example, I look at tomorrow and I'm like, okay, so when do I actually need my phone tomorrow? Like, what am I going to need it for tomorrow? And of course I can get calls or whatever. But in truth, I don't actually need it much, because a lot of the people I talk to are from the US, so I don't need my phone until like 5 p.m. UK time anyway, because that's midday and no one really messages me before midday because I work with influencers. So look at it like that and be like, okay, so when do I actually need my phone? What do I need it for? Most of the time, I mean, for me, maybe it's just because I'm antisocial or whatever, but I'm not actually that antisocial. It's just more so that I just work and I kind of like lock in. But kind of look at what you need your phone for, and then go from that. Like tomorrow, I'm going with my mom and my sister to go to this country house thing, whatever. Yeah, it sounds really posh, whatever. But I've realised now that tomorrow I have a sales call at 9 p.m. Other than that, all I've got to do is fill in this document prior to when this guy gets back from LA, so we can make the course. Well, not course, but you know what I mean. So I need to have everything done by then. So that's literally my two priorities. I have a sales call at 9 o'clock and I have that. Everything else is just replying to messages, and if I don't reply instantly, it's not a fucking problem. So I don't actually need my phone, like, basically the whole day. So I know it sounds really fucking weird, emo, fucking monk, like, I sound like so abnormal compared to the norm, which people go on our phones all the time, and I'm just really like weird in that regard. But in truth, I just want to have the best quality of life that I can in the years that I have to live, really. And I don't think you're going to look back on your life when you're 80 and think to yourself, I wish I spent more time on my phone. I wish I spent more time on my phone. You're going to look back in your life and you're going to think, I wish I spent far less time on my phone and actually enjoyed life far more and doing things physically far more. So there you go. I think that's a good way to kind of look at everything, is just think about what you would think when you're older, you know? Like when you're doing that task and then you're like, you know what, I'm going to watch YouTube videos instead because it's more fun. Yourself on your deathbed, looking back at that now, would be like, oh, I wish I actually did something, because then I'd actually do something with my life, and then I'd actually achieve stuff, and then I'd have would have lived the life that I wanted to live, you know? So look at it in that regard. I think that's a good way to kind of like look at it and be like, okay, what the fuck am I doing? I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. So, yeah, I think it's just sad because everything's going digital now, and it's really fucking pissing me off for whatever reason, whether it be control of fucking populations and shit, or whether it be just the fact that everyone's going to be sat fucking dystopian movie with Apple fucking Vision goggles going. Like, it's so fucking shit. So, be different, because I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I think people will start waking up to it at some point. But, I mean, if I'm weird and you all think I'm weird, then fair play. Because I get it, because I probably am. So, anyway, thank you for watching the video. That is day 120-something or other. I want to get this fucking thing out, so I'm working on it and getting all the back end stuff done so we can record it, then upload it and get the cash from it. So that's what we're doing. Thank you for watching, boys. I hope this has been of somewhat value to you guys, and I will see you. And yeah, sorry about the haircut as well. And I'll see you tomorrow. And if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, you can do so, because I'm 4 subscribers of 100 still, somehow, I think. So if you want to subscribe, top of the description. Cheers, boys. Good night.